Here's what my friend Harlan Howard wrote about the fellow you're about to meet. Sometimes he wears a beard and shaves his head. Sometimes he shaves his beard and wears his head. And sometimes he's writing articles and drawing cartoons for Playboy magazine. He's in Hollywood working on movies, and sometimes he's lonesome. But wherever he is, he's the one and only Shel Silverstein, and one of the most talented guys I ever met. Ladies and gentlemen, Shel Silverstein.
Sheldon Allen Silverstein is from Chicago, Illinois, born on September 25, 1930. There is a belief that he was born in 1932. His parents are Nathan and Helen Silverstein. He grew up in a low-class place called the Logan Square of Chicago. Silverstein lived from 1930 to 1999. Silverstein died from a heart attack. His body was discovered by two housekeepers on May 10, 1999. He was confirmed that Silverstein died on the 8th or 9th of May. Silverstein lived for 68 years. Silverstein began drawing from the age of 12 by tracing other people's artwork. He developed his own style in writing. He was creating before he saw other cartoonists like Thurber, Benchley, Price, or Steinberg. He did not see these four people until the age of 30. Silverstein graduated from Roosevelt High and attended 3 universities. The University of Illinois, but he was kicked out of school after a year due to bad grades. He then went to Chicago Academy of Fine Arts for a year and later left for some unknown reason. Then Silverstein studied English at Roosevelt University for 3 years until he was drafted into the Army. Interesting facts. Silverstein said he regretted going to college because it was a waste of time and would have better been spent traveling around the world meeting people. In 1956, Shel works as a cartoonist and travel reporter for Playboy. As a child, Silverstein wanted to become a baseball player and to be popular with girls. Neither one of these things worked out, so he began to draw and write. As he was writing, he was influenced by funny things and enjoyed writing. Silverstein has influenced many kids by his children's literature writing. Many of Silverstein's poems are based on unrealistic events. Like his poem Long Scarf is about a person that has his head chopped off and is kept attached by a scarf. Another poem that he wrote is called People Zoo. This is about animals going to the zoo to watch people. His books have sold over 20 million copies. Silverstein has a dark writing style and his own genre of writing. In his writing, he makes up words so he can rhyme with other normal words. In the poem Pinocchio, Silverstein makes up the word oi and uses it a minimum of 2 or more times in each stanza. His poetry was deceptively simple, usually using a low vocabulary level and a conversational style.
Most of his poems were songs and were sung by the Irish Rovers, Loretta Lynn, the Brothers Four, and also Johnny Cash. Here is a clip from one of Shel's famous songs, A Boy Named Sue.
Well, it was Gatlinburg in mid-July, and I just hit town and my throat was dry. Thought I'd stop and have myself a brew. At an old saloon on a street of mud.
There at a table, dealing studs, sat the dirty, mangy hound who named me Sue.
Well, I knew that snake was my own sweet dad from a worn-out picture that my mother had. I knew that scar on his cheek and his evil eye.
He was kind of bent, gray and old. I looked at him, my blood run cold. I said,
My name is Sue. How do you do? Now you're gonna die.
Silverstein is best known for his immensely popular children's book including The Giving Tree, Falling Up, and A Light in the Attic. Silverstein has delighted 10 million readers around the world, becoming one of the most popular and best-loved children's authors of all time.
No, I did not take a nap. The nap took me, off the bed and out the window, far beyond the sea. to a land where sleepyheads read only comic books and lock their naps in iron safes so that they can't get took. And soon as I came to that land, I also came to grief. The people pointed at me, shouting, "Where's the nap, you thief?" They took me to the courthouse. The judge put on his cap.
He said, "My child, you are on trial for taking someone's nap. Yes, all you selfish children, you just think of yourselves and don't care if the nap you take belongs to someone else. It happens that the nap you took, without a thought or care, belongs to Bonnie Bolingbroke, who's sitting crying there. She hasn't slept in quite some time, just see her eyelids flap. She's tired, drowsy, cranky too, 'cause guess who took her nap? The jury cried, "You're guilty, yes, you're guilty as can be. Just return the nap you took, and we might set you free."
"I did not take that nap," I cried. "I give my solemn vow, and if I took it by mistake, I do not have it now."
"Oh, fiddle fudge," cried the judge, "your record looks quite sour. Last night I see you stole a kiss, last week you took a shower, you beat your eggs, you whipped your cream, at work you punched the clock. You've even killed an hour or two, we've heard you darn your socks. We know you shot a basketball, you've stolen second base, and we can see you're guilty from the sleep that's on your face. Go lie down on your blanket now and cry your guilty tears. I sentence you to one long nap for 90 million years. And when the other children see this nap that never ends, no child will ever dare to take somebody's nap again." The theme of the poem is that some people need things more than others, therefore things should never be taken for granted. In line 2, there is a side of diction. The nap didn't really take him. It is actually referring to how when someone is in deep sleep, it feels like they are escaping the real world. From lines 3 to 4, it creates the effect of imagery for the reader.
There is a shift in tone from the first stanza to the second. The tone shifts from calm to a more aggravated tone. In line 10, this is where the conflict starts.
The N-word in every other line rhymes. For example, took and Bolingbroke. For example, each stanza has its own rhyming pattern. A and A rhyme and B rhyme. This creates an interlocking pattern which can be known as a ballad.
The whole poem is broken up into verses.
The highlighted words demonstrate the author's use of diction because the words provoke a strong emotion such as rage or anger. For example, the phrase "to kill time" is a statement usually used to talk about making time pass by fairly quickly. But with the way the author puts the word in context, it makes it seem that the protagonist is caught in a dilemma. Shel Silverstein usually ends his stories with tragedies. For example, this story ends with a tragic ending because the protagonist is getting a brutal sentence. The general tone of the poem is very lyrical. Silverstein is greatly known through the use of his hyperboles and diction, which can be found in this poem, Naptaker.